guys, welcome to another episode of Conversations Under the Influence. I'm Natallia Nemes. I'm so excited for my bomb-ass guest, Vanessa Perkins. Not only is she a mother, she's a mother of 3 young kids and just gave twins, and she is an insane photographer who photographs women in the most amazing light. I will kind of put this up real quick so you guys can maybe see. I'm going to send links. This is hard to see, but women see women for how they truly are, and that's what I want to get into. So with no further ado, thank you for being here. Can I just get you to give a little bit of history about yourself and how you just got into photography in the first place?
Yeah, definitely. So photography, of course, has always been a passion, but I never really thought about making it a career until it was probably 5 or 6 years ago. I had lost a job, and I was like, okay, well, what am I gonna do? I have some time on my hands. I can do something with this. And I was living in Utah at the time, and they had this special 4-month photography course, like sped up photography course, and they teach you everything about photographing people. So it was very specific. So I took the course and I started photographing families and weddings and, everything under the sun to try to figure out what it is that I really liked and, try to get some money, of course. And then a couple of years ago, my husband, so he's an artist and he graduated in illustration, and he's always loved figure drawings, like drawing people, and he's done a lot of like new drawings. And he actually was the one that was trying to talk me into doing boudoir, and I was like, I don't know, because I grew up pretty in a conservative community, and I found myself as I got older kind of, opening my eyes to different types of art, I guess
Can
you
you
could say.
describe what boudoir is for people that don't know what that is?
Yes, yeah. So boudoir actually means, oh gosh, don't quote me if I'm wrong, but it means in the woman's bedroom. Um, yeah.
Like, hey, whatever. It's 2020. We can redefine whatever it is. So Vanessa Perkins says it. That's what it meant.
Yeah. That's what we're going with.
That's what we're going with.
But it definitely, a lot of people might recognize it as like back in the 90s, it was more of like glamour shots. Get your hair like huge and wear like the off the shoulder puffy sleeves and stuff. So it's more like glamour shots back in the day, but now it's more definitely in the woman's bedroom type of look, lingerie type of feel. But yeah, that's basically what boudoir is. And anyway, so my husband, he tried to talk me into it, and I was very like, I don't know, like I'm not like, a lot of the boudoir photos I would see were very like more on the raunchy side, I guess you could say. And I'm like, I don't really want to take pictures like that. I'm not really like, I feel like I'm a little bit more on like the classy side, I guess.
Yeah.
But and then eventually I ran into some photographers on Instagram and whatnot who were doing more of like artistic look to boudoir, and I was like, this is really interesting. And so I finally had a friend come up to me and was like, do you do boudoir photos? And I was like, what's funny is my husband's been trying to talk me into it, and I've been looking into it a lot actually. And she's like, well, can you take mine? And I was like, okay. And so I took her photos. Yeah, it was really fun. I did some research first of how to do boudoir photos. It kept just like, all right, hop on the bed, click, click. You gotta definitely like learn how to pose correctly and everything. But yeah, I did her photos, and something happened I totally didn't expect. And I just thought like, oh, cool, she's gonna have some nice photos to surprise her husband for their anniversary. Instead, yeah, she got that, but also she was like, wow, that made me feel so good. Like it was so empowering, and like, it just made her feel more like a woman, how a woman should feel. And it just like gave me like, yeah, it gave me like a high of like, wow, this really is amazing. And then that summer I had my own boudoir photos done. We did them outside, which was way cool too. So I do both indoor and outdoor, but yeah, I had my first set boudoir photos for myself done outside, and it made me feel so empowered, and I just like felt so great. And I was like, I gotta do this, I gotta make this a living. And so that's kind of the
That's magic.
long story.
So let me ask you this. How long after you had your kids did you do this outdoor photo shoot?
So I had my first daughter, and I think it was right after I had her, I was like, I want to get boudoir photos done. And my husband's like, yeah, do it. Because boudoir is definitely more of like a luxury experience. So you're definitely going to put more money into it than you would like a family shoot. So, and we didn't have a lot of money at the time, but he was like, I think that is gonna make you feel so good. Like, my
Yes.
husband's very supportive, and I was like, okay. So I signed up for it, and then 6 months, I think my daughter was 6 or 7 months old, so my body was, 6, 7 months after having a baby. I went and did this outdoor shoot, and it seriously made me feel so good.
I love that because I mean, I haven't had kids, but from what I understand about women, obviously it's a struggle, after you have a child, your body does not look like what it used to be. Obviously that affects how you feel about yourself. So like, would you say that doing this photo shoot like put you back in your power and your sexiness and your womanhood?
Yeah, yeah, even more so than I felt before I ever had kids.
I love
I
that.
Yeah, it definitely was a way to help me not only accept my new body that I had after having a kid,
Mm,
but also just like accepting my body that I've had my whole life. So
yeah.
yeah, it was awesome.
Right? Isn't that so screwed up? Because it's so funny. Like, I've talked about this a couple times, and like, I had body image issues from a young age. And now that I look back at it, I'm like, what the hell was wrong with me? Like, was perfect, and I still am perfect, and my body changes like as you get older. And it's funny, like some of the things I've done really for my mental health and my body images is I get rid of all the shit that doesn't make me feel good because I'm not meant to
Right.
look like a supermodel. I have curves, and no matter how skinny I am, I'm Hungarian. I have a little pooch, and now I embrace it, and it's so funny. And the more that you embrace your womanhood, the sexier you become. I realize men, like,
Hmm.
I've been getting chased more now that I have 15 more extra pounds on me than I
Yeah.
did when I had less. And I think because more, I'm just like, I don't give a fuck anymore. And I take
Yeah.
pictures of myself. And because I remember I heard this, I don't know if you watch, I think it's a Grace and Frankie or somebody, but like this, her older 80-year-old grandmother was like, you best be taking pictures of yourself because basically, like, when you get older, you're going to want to look at that, like, woman and be like, God, you were beautiful. Actually, no, that was Schitt's
Yeah.
Creek. It was that
Yeah,
Miro.
I was gonna say Moira says that. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And I was like, hell yeah. So I love that you're doing this for women. I mean, um, that's so amazing. So can we go also back a little bit? Because I feel like a lot of people also get stuck in fear when things aren't working out. Obviously, like you said, like you lost your job, but you've always had this passion. Obviously, you're insanely talented too. Um, was there a lot of like fear or negative thoughts trying to talk you out of like, hey, let's take this course, or hey, let's actually do this shoot? Was there anything that you had to overcome to like get to the other side?
As far as starting the photography course, years ago, I wouldn't say that course I had actually been looking into for a little while, but I think the fear came in when I had my job, because I had the job and I was like, I gotta do something and get out of this job. But it was one of those jobs where it just like you hate the job, but it pays well and your coworkers
Yeah,
are awesome. So you're like, oh, I guess I'll stay here for years and years and not ever pursue my passions. And so it was
yeah.
like, once I lost the job, it was, of course, losing a job is stressful, but it was an opportunity. I saw it as an opportunity to
Mm,
like, now's the time to act. If I but and like do this course, it's now or I'm gonna have to just like start another office job that I'm gonna hate. And yeah, it just, ever since then, I just like took it and ran. And then when I transitioned into boudoir, I definitely had a lot of fears. I had a lot of fears of like growing up in, like, as I was saying, like a conservative Christian background, like what will the church people
me
think,
too,
Yeah.
girlfriend. Me too. I didn't listen to secular music, and I spoke in tongues. Like I was that far.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
your titties were
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, it's definitely a different experience to finally like accept like your body's beautiful and like you shouldn't hide it. I mean, you should definitely, not be like a raunchy person, but
Yeah.
yeah, so it's funny because that kind of did hold me back for a while. I was like, what will my family think? What will like the conservative church people think? But it's so funny because once I switched to doing boudoir, I actually had a lot of women in my church be like, hey, I want to do that for my husband, or like, hey, I want to do this for myself, or whatever. And it was like, I was very surprised, but it was really cool to see that like all women um, want to feel beautiful, and they definitely look at a boudoir photo shoot as an opportunity to do that. So I
I
thought that was
love
really
that.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, I think from a woman's eye, you know, a woman sees a woman differently than a man. And I love the way you capture the, because it like, I think men can capture the physicality. I think what you also capture is the essence. You know what I'm saying? And that
Yeah.
is like, that's where the sexiness and the power, you know what I'm saying? We can all pose, but unless you
Yeah.
feel it and it goes like through the camera into the picture, like it's a whole different thing. And that's what I'm so excited about, like what you do for people. Because again, I think like, you know, as especially with us women, we're always like in our head and we see what we're
Mhm.
thinking versus if you see a different version of yourself that you're like, damn, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah, exactly.
would you say that these shoots also too impact like women especially differently? Like, do you think like one shift in how they see themselves trickles into other aspects of their life?
Yeah, yeah, and I really appreciate what you were saying with it not just being like a pose, but you can see that it's like, you know, empowering and whatever. Because yeah, definitely, that's a big goal of mine, is because my first few experiences with boudoir were, yeah, they got really beautiful photos of themselves, but more than anything, they felt empowered and they felt good about themselves. That's always my goal in a photo shoot, when a
Yeah.
woman walks in. So I try to do phone calls. I have an assistant as well that will do a phone call before a woman ever comes to like let them know, like, look, like, yeah, you're gonna be nervous. That's totally normal. Like, you're gonna be in your underwear in front of somebody.
Alcohol always
Yeah,
helps, by the way. Oh yeah,
yeah,
Pete.
do what you
Sorry, I
need to do.
didn't introduce this. My podcast is called Conversations on Influence. So here's some prosecco, kids. I'm drinking a little
Nice.
prosecco in honor of today.
In
in
honor of today. Awesome.
honor of today. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're fine. But yeah, I want women to know, like, yeah, you're probably gonna feel nervous. That's totally normal. But like, I definitely want a woman to feel comfortable. And yeah, at first they might be a little tense because again, they're in their underwear in front of a stranger. But like, I definitely want it to feel like a girls' night out and like pillow talk. And eventually by the end, like, I've had a number of women at the beginning, because I will do some like tasteful like topless photos if they want, you know, or nude photos. And at the beginning, I'll ask, like, do you want to do any nude photos? Like, that's totally up to you and your comfort. And sometimes they're like, I don't know, maybe, or like, no. And then by the end, I'll ask
They're
again.
like,
They're like, yeah, yeah. They're like stripping their clothes off. They're like, I'm totally comfortable now. Let's do it. Like,
I love
I,
that.
yeah, I love seeing women go from like super nervous to like, this is my body and I'm accepting it. And like, I'm happy that I'm able to create like a safe zone for them to do that.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And
Yeah.
P.S. on a side note, if anyone can hear, I live in Fairfax district of LA, and there's a police helicopter circling. So if you hear some feedback, I'm sorry, I can't control that, but that's what's going on right now. But you know, rolling with the punches. So how long have you been doing this now? You said?
A couple years, so about 2 years I've been doing boudoir, and like I said, like, I took it and ran with it, and so I've just been doing shoot after shoot. And I also believe that you're never done learning anything, so I'm constantly trying to educate myself and like getting, you know, not only better with pretty poses, but also like better with how I communicate with my clients that come in and make sure they're comfortable and everything.
Oh my God, I love that. And then how do a lot of your clients find you?
Um, a lot of it is I've had a lot of like through Instagram. I try to keep up on there, and word of mouth. Like, once a woman gets their photo shoot done, I'm like, yeah, tell your friends about it, and like, usually they have a good experience. I haven't had anybody so far give me any negative feedback. I'm hoping that doesn't ever happen. But it's a business, it might. But
Yeah.
anyway, so a lot of it is word of mouth as well. So yeah.
Oh my God, I love that. And what would you say maybe like one of your top most rewarding things is about what you do?
The most rewarding thing definitely kind of goes back to seeing how the women feel. So I have this short little story. So one woman I photographed, she came in nervous just like anybody else, and she almost didn't even come in. I was doing like a day of boudoir mini, so I had about 4 or 5 women scheduled to come in for a shorter photo shoot, and she almost couldn't come in because timing didn't work out, and I had somebody cancel a different time. So then she was able to eventually come in, and she almost said no, but she did, which was awesome. And I could tell she was nervous, but by the end she definitely warmed up, and like I said, she decided to do some nude photos.
As they all do.
Yeah. Yeah. And then when I had ordered some of her products, occasionally if they live close enough, I like to go drop them off so I can like be there when they open them. So I went to her house,
And
and
what
her
are the
husband,
products? The products for the shoot? Is that what you're talking about?
yeah, so I sell like photo albums and wall art
Oh,
and
okay.
stuff like that. So I went to her house to drop it off, and her husband was there, and they invited me in, and she's like, "Oh, this is the lady that did my photos," and they were like looking at the product, their photos, and she had already shown him the photo album. I was just dropping off some wall art, and he told me, he's like, because she surprised him with it, and he's like, yeah, I was so surprised that my wife did that. I would never have expected her to do that. He's like, but you know what? I'm so happy she did. Like, every woman should do this. Every woman should invest and go get a boudoir photo shoot done. And he said, um, these pictures that I'm looking at, that, oh gosh, I'm going to ruin it. Because she, of course, looked very beautiful in these photos, as she does in real life as well. But he said, the way that you see yourself in these photos is how I see you every day. And I
Oh
was
my
like, yeah, I almost started
goodness.
crying right there. I was like, that's beautiful.
Yes, no, but that's the thing. Like, I realize as I've gotten older, and obviously I'm sure with you, with your what you do now, is like men see us in such more a beautiful light than we do. I feel like as women, we judge ourselves so much
Yeah.
more harshly than we should, and we
Hmm.
punish ourselves. So, like, ladies, get a boudoir photo shoot, and if you're in California or if you're not in California, I don't care. Come out and get one with Vanessa, because like
Yeah.
it's such a magical, empowering thing. And I like, I said earlier, again, just I mean, I haven't officially ever had one, but I'm about to have one with you soon once all this when it frees up. But like just even doing my own, like it's really shift a lot of things for me, like
That's
oh
awesome.
women are powerful. Our bodies are created to destroy the world of men. And I mean that with love. Like literally a man, like if they see tits and ass, like everything goes out the window. You know what I'm saying? And if only we embrace that a little bit more and celebrated it a little bit more, like I feel like things could be just even a little bit better between a husband and wife. Because I feel like again, like, and I've been guilty of this, is like if I don't feel sexy and a man's grabbing me, I'm like pushy, but then they think that's them when it's really me. So I think it's so important to
Right.
really like honor your womanhood. So when a man does approach you, your husband or whoever it is, like your relationship can just, flourish on a whole nother level, because again, they see us in this different light, and we should be
Yeah.
celebrated. We're goddesses and, you know, popping out kids, putting up
Yeah.
your shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like doing all that stuff. So that's
Yeah,
amazing.
definitely.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
I
Um,
love that.
are there any so I'm gonna back up just for another second because I feel like especially with COVID and all this stuff, there's a lot of transition going on with people whether it's like careers or whatever it is there any advice you would give to somebody that's like in the cusp of two different fences of like, okay, this isn't working, my old solid career, and here's are some passions? Are there anything that you would tell them, like tell your younger self 2 years ago,
Yeah, as far as like switching career
Yeah.
paths and
Yeah.
everything, I would just say go for it. Something I really learned, I've been listening the last few years to a lot of podcasts and whatnot of like inspirational women, and a lot of them are like badass boss babes that worked from nothing to the top all by themselves. Well, of course, you know, hopefully they had people around them supporting them, but yeah, a lot of them just say like just go for it. Like sometimes it takes, and this is something I had to learn too, sometimes it takes money to get money. So like
Oh
if
yeah.
there's like, yeah, if there's a course out there that you want to do and it costs a pretty penny, but you know it's going to get you somewhere, put faith in it and do it. Like that's
Here's to
definitely what I
that.
did.
Yes.
Hmm.
Thank you for saying that. Because I also came from the school of it costs too much. But over the years, I
Yep.
realized, hell no, it costs too much not to invest in yourself. You know, like
Right.
I spent $3,000 on this course by Marina De Giovanni. Shout out to her. She um struggling like online entrepreneur, doing the same thing over and over again for years, eventually figured it out. And now she creates these online courses to help women. And it was funny, like going back to like we were saying at one point, like, so you have to make a decision and it's the best investment. Same thing with like investing in these boudoir
Good
photos.
luck.
Boudoir, sorry. Uh, but I mean, I think women, especially too, like investing in yourself is the best thing you can ever do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? More times than not, the money doesn't end up in the bank account. More times than not, if it, you know, it gets spent on stupid shit. So why not invest it in what you want to be doing, you know, and the things that you want to be living? So I love that you did that. I love
Yeah.
that.
Thank
That's
you.
magic. And now look at where you are. And
Yeah.
you're about to also start a podcast, maybe, I hear.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it for a while. Like I was saying, other podcasts I've been listening to, some of them recommend starting a podcast. And I feel like I have a lot of information I want to get out there, not necessarily about boudoir shoots, but like about empowering women. And I just feel like it's about time I start doing that. I'm just kind of letting things calm down after having twins. But
Amazing.
yeah.
Amazing. Where are they right now? Is your husband watching them or are they just passed out sleep?
Yeah, my husband, I have, you know, my toddler twins, and we have a 100-pound dog that barks really loud. So he took them all out on a drive.
Oh my God, God bless his soul. Tell him thank you so
Yeah,
much. It's very sweet of him. Very supportive. Very, very
yeah.
supportive.
Otherwise, it would be really noisy in here.
Yeah. Oh my God, I love that. Um, well, I'm gonna wrap this up, but is there any last words of wisdom you would like to share with the world?
Yeah, actually, I know we talked a lot about women doing boudoir shoots, especially to see like how their partner would feel about it. But I've had a number of women come in as well that do it for themselves. I had a single mom come in once, and she just felt so empowered. And you don't necessarily have to do lingerie. You can do, um, you know, just like cozy underwear or whatever it is that you want to do. But yeah, it's for boudoirs for every woman, every shape, size, color, every situation, every background. And not only is boudoir, you know, helpful to all those women, but like just remember to all the women out there to like treat yourself and to make sure that you feel empowered every day. And if you don't, go out and do something that's going to help you with that.
Yay! Wise words from Vanessa Perkins, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God, I love that. And then do you want to just give a shout out to where people can find you? I mean, for
Yeah.
anybody that can't write this down right now, there will be in the description area links to all this stuff, but also give a shout out to your.
Awesome. Yeah. So you can find me on Instagram. Vanessa Perkins Boudoir is my handle. And then I have a VIP Facebook group. It's simple, just Vanessa Perkins VIP Boudoir. And I do a lot of giveaways in there. So you definitely want to join there. And my website is vanessaperkinsboudoir.com. So pretty easy.
Yay! And then
Yep.
for all you guys who haven't already, be good children and students and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed to the podcast. Like it, give shout outs, comments, all that stuff. And thank you for listening and watching and tune in for next week. Thank you so much, Vanessa. You're amazing. I'm really
Yes,
excited to
thank
share
you.
your story for the rest of the world. All right.
Thanks.
See, just 1 second.
Purple butt in my backwoods. If you smoke with me, you'll get high as Popeyes, eating chicken wings with my